Or Cleveland Cavaliers fall to a final score of 124-116 against the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. Not a good game whatsoever. I'm going to get that out of the way first. And I know Logan is riled up, so we're going to start with him because, I mean, just not a good game. Probably one of the worst games we played all year long. Don't even really care that the score was, 8 points.
Guys, I'm angry. I mean, 116 points is about the only positive, but I have nothing else to say positive about this game. One, you got absolutely demolished in the paint. Absolutely demolished. And when you finally started locking that up, you lost your closeouts on late threes. There was so many points in this game where the Cavaliers went ice cold. I mean, ice cold. Because they started the game hot. Kevin Love knocks down 4 triples. I don't think he made another 3 after that. Or maybe he hit one more. But they went unbelievably cold at times. And it wasn't exactly the offense that was really angering me. To me, there was 0 adjustments that were made throughout the game. They killed us with 2 guys, Trae Young, Danilo Gallinari. I mean, DeAndre Hunter had a good game. Definitely some role players hit some big shots. I'm not saying that they didn't, but it seemed like every time we got back in it, someone always lost Gallinari or Trae Young, and I don't understand. We went to that zone for a little bit in the third quarter, got us a 5-point lead, let that zone go. I have no idea what happened. But all of a sudden, I think with the Hawks, I get it. When Trae Young crosses half court, he's in range. I understand that. But when you have a guy meet him at half court, your defense is so spread out. So every time the Hawks got just to the paint, just like the top of the key, right, that free throw line, defense didn't know how to play anymore. And I hate to be negative because we're 35-23 going into the All-Star break. Not even in my wildest dreams would I have predicted that. But this game was only as close as it was because Atlanta really isn't that good. And that's what I said in the group chat. Atlanta's a good team. They're feisty. They're tough. But I don't think they're a team that we should be losing to, especially down John Collins. This was just defensively one of the worst performances I've seen all season. Sad to say it because I don't usually come on here and I don't usually get negative, but this was an ugly, ugly defensive performance.
Yeah, I have to agree, honestly. Pretty glaring, obviously. Like Logan said, not a lot of good things to talk about. I'm glad that I feel like there were points that we made in Cavs Encapsulated today that came out. Logan, your point about closing out today would have been great if we executed on that. And we win on the rebounding category, but we still lose. And, Darius Garland, don't know that you can really fault him. Evan Mobley, don't know that you can fault him. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to look at this game and peg it as something that we should have lost because I don't think I had this as a win before I knew John Collins was going to be out, and I definitely felt like we should have had it when I found John Collins was out. So honestly, a tough 2 games to lose going into the All-Star break, especially against teams that I would consider playoff teams that you would face in a 7-game series.
Absolutely. I mean, we know one thing: playing Atlanta in a 7-game series would be certainly entertaining. I think I'd be getting really, really frustrated though. Lost the free throw battle like 27-12. I think they had shot 27 free throws. I mean, officials weren't great tonight. I'm not going to blame them. I think the defensive effort was really, really poor. We saw Vert really come alive in that second half, showed his scoring capability. I mean, he was really doing some good things out there for a little while. Well, one thing I don't like about what JB Bickerstaff does is he puts LeVert on the court when there's Rondo and Garland. I just hate that lineup. I really don't like it because I think in that setting, you should have one guy who keeps moving on the floor, and that's LeVert. He's constantly moving. I mean, Garland already moves naturally because he's the point guard. When you have Rondo out there as well, Rondo's also skirting all over the floor. It doesn't really allow for LeVert to find his holes, find the lanes to do what he does best, and that's score and playmaking. I really think that lineup needs to be worked around. I think Dean Wade and Garland out there together would have worked so much better. But I just felt today that the lineups weren't perfect. JB's done a great job. I think today he was kind of out-coached tonight. There's just a lot of things today that really, really bugged me. Some habits that have kind of come to light the last few games with the Cavaliers were center stage tonight, and that's what's the most frustrating.
We got some people in chat. What's going on? Fulam1, Bebo, B Skrills, Levert, we got some, like you were saying, Logan, not good from the 3-point line. Just go over that again. What lineup do you think for Levert as far as, like, give me your starting five, or not starting five, but surrounding Levert?
Yeah, Levert, I think we know he's not a prolific 3-point shooter, and he had a couple of good looks. I think he knocked down one, maybe two. I think it was one, though. But I think at the end of the day, I want him to start with the starters. I don't like him coming off the bench at all. Plus, I'm getting real sick of Isaac Okoro. I mean, 6 points, 6 fouls. Yeah, his defense is great. I feel like we have said this so many times now that it's just like it's gotten almost annoying myself saying, yeah, but his defense is good. Like, the guy went in there at the last possession there, slopped up some crap at the rim and ran over a guy. He has no desire to get to the rim with strength, I guess sometimes. Like, he definitely does, but in a setting where you're down 8, need a bucket, last couple of minutes, what in the hell is Isaac Okoro doing with the basketball, just running at the rim? I just feel like we're not putting our guy lately, I should say, we're not putting our guys in positions to succeed. So guys like Levert, I think when Larry comes back, Larry should move back to the 3 and Karras should start at the 2. Plain and simple. I think him coming off the bench is not really a role he's that familiar with lately. I mean, in Brooklyn, he worked his way into a starting role. Indiana was so bad that they needed somebody to start in the lineup that could score. I think you leave that 6-man role to Kevin Love, Jetty Osman, Rajon Rondo, and keep Levert in the starting 5. I think when he comes in to the game, sometimes he plays a little bit with Garland there, but he's not playing enough with Garland. And I think that's what's starting to bug me a little bit. You need to have Garland and Levert together, especially if you went out and made this trade knowing Levert could change your team.
Right.
And I know it's only a couple of games into his Cavs thing, and yeah, he hasn't perfect. I can see the potential. I just think he's not on the floor in the right situations, and that's what's kind of holding back the Cavaliers. Got to rework these lineups. I know JB's learning it on the fly as these moves have come in and the amount of times they do adjust lineups, but out of the All-Star break, you need to come back with a plan, with a full plan of here's our starters, here's our bench, let's roll.
I guess the interesting thing with the lineup changes is if you move Okoro to the bench and you bring in Karras, then it would be probably the best idea to just do a full 3-player swap of Love, Chetty, and Okoro coming out, because at least then whoever Okoro is going to replace, whether it be Garland or Levert, at least you're bringing some offensive firepower along with him.
It can't just be Okoro, right?
Yeah, because I can understand the argument that, hey, we all know that Isaac Okoro isn't, a great scorer by any means. And I mean, I don't personally think that I'm expecting much from him on the offensive side of the ball every night, but, score 6 points tonight, but are we not going to get on Levert for going 1 from 6 from 3-point line and only scoring 3 more points than him? I mean, there are definitely arguments to be made about, yeah, he had 6 fouls tonight and Trae Young went off, but those refs, I mean, I'm not going to try to blame it on the refs. It was a bad game for Okoro defensively, I think, but at the same time, I'm not going to just sit here and be like, all right, well, he's the major problem offensively with what's going on. I think that take that he had to the rim, I think personally he was going for a dunk, but he makes collision midair, and
he's done that 11 times this year, and that's why I'm so sick of it. When he goes up and just lobs it up over the backboard, I don't understand it. Like, go in there, come to a jump stop, or wrap around the defender. He had the right side wide open of the basket. It was him and Capella, and he decided to sprint over him and toss it up over the backboard. I know Okoro has better finishing ability than that. That's why it's bothering me, because we've seen him make some really nifty finishes in his short Cavalier tenure here. But yeah, Levert was 1 for 6. I totally get the argument. Levert has not been that great. I also think, 1, he's new. 2, he's not in the right situations. It's just Levert and Okoro should almost never be on the court together, in my opinion.
Never.
None of them are a great 3-point shooter. Okoro's the defense and Levert's the scorer, but he's not really extending that offense very far. And we know sure as hell Okoro sure as hell is not. I mean, and we saw Okoro and Levert together there down the stretch. It's just awful. It doesn't work. So I don't know. I'm getting angry. I need to stop because I'm not usually like this. But I will say this. I'll go a little more lighthearted here. The officials, yes, I'm not going to blame it on them, but they need to sit down, the NBA, with the officials before the season. Say,
Been saying this all year.
Here's the 20 guys that will flop every game. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. Trae Young, Joel Embiid,
not even
Harden.
flop, but it's like this Harden rule. Like, watch film, literally go on YouTube, Trae Young highlight reel, and find out what his move is to get the foul call, and then adjust from there. There's no reason that there should be fouls called 35 feet from the basket.
No.
And emotional loss and everything and whatever, and we're fresh off of the game. But Steph Curry changed the game of basketball. Correct. But he's also the reason stuff like that happens. He's also the reason that refs have to call 35, fouls 35 feet from the basket, because players are liable to shoot from there. So I totally agree with you, Logan. We got some wise people in chat. Turner saying, why do we not play defense versus teams that could shoot? Yeah. The defense has not been good. Even the Indiana game, defense sucked. This we haven't even touched yet. And Logan, you were just getting to with our lineup, but some of these possessions at the end of the games, I'm just sitting there like with my jaw like on the floor, because I don't like, even possessions we score, it's like I don't even know what's going on. We got people dribbling unnecessarily. We got passes that are ricocheting. It just happens to go to one of our guys. And the turnovers, so annoying, so infuriating. I can't get over the turnovers, and I'm doing a transition defense. I'm going to have to look at it in the last 3 games because it's so bad. It's like, I don't know. We don't rebound good enough to not get back in transition. It's like you either have to offensive rebound well or you have to just sprint back. And we do neither. We do neither exceptionally well. We haven't for the last 3 games. Ashton, shout out to Ashton in the chat. Okoro's defense is not good enough to be that limited on offense. If you look at when we played 76ers, Thibault's defense was game-changing. Okoro's defense is properly rated as for the majority of people, and I would shade to overrated. And I know people are going to say I'm not saying he's bad. No one's saying he's bad. But if you look at defensive rating on StatMuse, and come at me for using StatMuse, whatever. I mean, you can find whatever you want defensively. He has our worst defensive rating out of the starters, including Lowry. Like, he's at the bottom. Garland has a better defensive rating than him by like 0.2, according to StatMuse. So it's like, and I'm getting sick of it. And I'll go to Justin, because I'm sick of people playing really good for one half or one quarter or 2 quarters. Everybody, Darius Mobley does it all the time. Okoro tonight, I thought he played a pretty good first half. He only has 6 points, whatever. But it's like I thought he was kind of everywhere playing this hustle. Yeah, he's doing his hustle brand of basketball. Total disappear act in the second half. Fouls out. I mean, you can't. He only played 26 minutes. How you foul out? Trae Young's the reason you foul out. But like, how do you only have 6 points and 6 fouls in 26 minutes? But Justin.
Yeah, the whole everyone getting cold, and everyone getting cold, and I think Garland at the end came back on a little bit, but it was nice to see Evan, I think, play well for the most part tonight. And listen, we can't expect everyone to score 20 plus points. No. Like, it's getting 20 out of Mobley tonight was nice. Right. Getting how much did we get out of Love? I think he was our 3rd highest scorer.
17 or 18, maybe.
Like he disappeared in the 4th.
Yeah, 14 in the first quarter.
We've barely been talking about Chetty, because Chetty is typically the hero on this show. We're typically praising him a lot, but in these past 2 games, he's really just been a shadow of himself. Not really
didn't have it tonight. No.
Yeah,
he had a lot of good looks too.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because usually he was very early on in this year, and I think even midway through this year or through what we played this season, he was very active on the defensive side of the ball, and he was also very active in the transition offense. He would have a lot of very good back-to-back possessions, whether it be, defensively going to offense and whatnot. But, the problem for me, again, is just like there's guys I expect offense from, and then there's guys that I don't expect offense from. Like, my biggest thing with Rajon Rondo is like, hey, I don't expect you to score a whole lot, but I would like you to get other guys into position to make those plays and make those points. Chetty Osman's a guy that I got to expect 10 out of him, because if he's not, then he's just we're just not talking about him, or we're trying not to talk about him. Kevin Love, if he's not knocking down threes, then his defense is poor. He doesn't really want to close out. I think there was a couple times that he just didn't close out on guys. Yeah, he's a great rebounder, but it is what it is. And then my one problem with Jared Allen, and it's not really even a problem, because I think Jared Allen, in and night out, outside of Garland, is probably the most consistent player on this team. But we talked about it when he got snubbed the first time, is that like he's worked himself out of that conversation that we had him in at the very beginning, where he was like a top, maybe we weren't saying top three, top five center, and he's completely worked himself out of there. But what happens to those games where, like, even you could have said like the 76ers game would have been like a moment where you probably hear a snippet from him and it's like, hey, we need to play better. And he comes out and he gets 20 rebounds the next game. Like, why isn't he just consistently doing that? Why aren't him and Mobley both just getting doubles every night? It's something that, like, listen, if you're not, this would be my easiest thing with Mobley. If you score 10 points and grab 10 rebounds, I'd be pretty happy with you, honestly. If you averaged a double-double your rookie year, right, I'd be pretty happy with you. Jared Allen, if he averaged, 14 and 10, I'd be pretty happy with you, and I'd expect more from guys like Levert and Garland and Chetty and Kevin Love to do all your, like, three-point shooting. But that's my problem with right now. Like, Rubio was so unexpectedly good at offense, like at scoring, that I don't know that I'm going to be happy with what Levert brings, because I don't know that he's got the same game that Rubio has. And Rubio did way more than I think we expected him. He passed and he shot the ball really well from deep. So it's obviously we're emotional right now because it was a tough loss.
I'm sure if we gave this a night, we wouldn't be as mad, but that's what's the beauty about live streams. It makes them more controversial.
Absolutely. But, it's a struggle. We're going into the All-Star break. You wish you could have ended on a positive note, but at the end of the day, we had two back-to-back games where not back-to-back, but, 2 games where we lose, and they're against teams that you could potentially be seen in the playoffs.
And teams that are coming on strong, too. You don't play consistent, great. A few teams play consistently great to elite basketball all year long. You're seeing this now with the All-Star break. Hopefully it cools some teams off. Teams like Atlanta, they haven't been playing great in their last 5, but like Boston, we need Boston to chill out for a second because they're coming on hot.
Like 50-something on Philly right now.
Yeah, they're absolutely destroying Philly. But it's like, yes, there's going to be overreactions, of course, due to when it comes like how people view this game. If you're coming right off of a loss, it's going to be a lot different than if you get to think about it. But you have to match that thought process up with what you already thought, in a stable mindset. Like I've been saying, Levert, even not commenting on the trade other than this point, like just take everything else out of it. I definitively said Levert doesn't get us over the top. He doesn't get us to the NBA Finals. Well, he doesn't win us an NBA Finals. Let's just say that from the top. So it's like when he plays like this, 1 for 6, he's not pass first oriented like Darius is, and it's still early. He's getting involved. He's getting acclimated. There's 9 million variables. He's going to be fine. I think he's going to fit in fine. I think he's going to play it at a pretty high level for us. But if your standpoint was that he couldn't get you to the finals or win you a finals beforehand, it's like, when you lose games like this, it makes it that ever more apparent that he still has to get acclimated this season. People say we're ahead of schedule. However you feel about the season, there's still a whole second half basically left to play. Allen trying to get back on D, saying that I've been saying this all year. We need to get better offensive rebounding. The rebounding is so frustrating because we are at the point where you play such bad defense for the most part of the game, then you get a stop, and like we can't get a rebound. So the stop is pointless. By the time that you get a good defensive possession, sometimes they get an offensive rebound, but it's just one of those things.
Hard. It's hard to watch when they're like both Mobley and Allen are like, on either side of the bucket, and you can't just grab it. They're tapping it out to someone that's open somehow.
Kelly Ellie says, if Sexton ain't playing, why is he there? He's such a distraction. It's All-Star week, so I'll give them an excuse. They're tired, but we will recoup. Happy All-Star week, gentlemen. Happy All-Star week. I don't know if Sexton is a distraction. I think it's weird that he's shooting on 1 foot pregame. Like, why is he on the road trip doing that? Resident non-Sexton lover here in the top left of your screen. Like, I've always thought he's been a performative, like, calls himself young bull, needs to be in the spotlight kind of player, which has always been weird to me. So I don't know if he's a distraction. I would assume the team likes him having around, and I would assume JB would have to sign off on him coming to road games. But I guess that's an interesting thing. I think our bench is kind of distracting when they're standing.
A happy All-Star week to Kelly, though, either way, coming on in and saying her 2 cents. It's just a weird feeling right now with the Cavs. I think we're more mad because it's knowing that we have to sit on 2 straight losses for this long is going to kind of suck. And I think the Cavaliers are so in need of this All-Star break right now. Get everyone back, retool, kind of reconfigure a little bit, think more about lineups. I think JB, knowing the job that he's done, he's going to have a good plan coming out. Yeah. All I'm going to say is if we come back and this starting 5 is Garland, Okoro, Wade, Mobley, Allen, I'm going to have a fit because I hate that starting 5. Like, with a passion, I hate that starting 5.
Hopefully Markkanen will be back by then.
Yeah. I hope Lowry's good.
For sure. But it's like one of those things where I'm watching this. It's like, JB, we haven't gotten off to a good start in 5 straight games. So why in the hell are we still running the same starting 5? It just doesn't make sense to me. Why not throw a scoring punch out there? Why not even just give Jetty a look in the starting 5 just to see if we can at least start fast?
Somebody that can hit the 3 from the guard spot.
Yeah, somebody who just makes the defense. I feel like they have us scouted to play Wade. Lowry's missed 3 weeks, I saw on Twitter. Other coaches aren't stupid. They know Okoro can't really shoot or he's not going to absolutely kill you. And Wade is, kind of a non-factor. So you have to really rely on Garland. Garland, what was 10 for the 10 of the first 15? Yeah. And I think the issue is him nursing the back because I was listening to it on the radio or I was watching it and then I was listening to it and then I was watching it again. And it's I'm thinking we're being cautious with his minutes because he's 10 out of the first 15. Then JB takes him out. Just let him go. We need the points, and he still scored 30 in the first quarter.
Got to get the starting 5 for this quote-unquote second half of the season. That's got to be established. I think that's got to be day one. We're back from this All-Star break. That has to be established because I can't watch slow starts. I know today we did outscore them in the first quarter. We still started not great, though. We started coming alive later once the bench got in. I don't want to always rely on the bench to bring us back and get us going. Why not just start hot? And keep staying hot. It's not like you have to bring all 3 guys off the bench. Bring Levert in. And then you still have your 3 that you've had all season, Rubio for Rondo, or Rondo for Rubio, rather. You would still have the same rotation. Why not get another scoring punch out there early? I don't know. I really struggle to understand the reasoning. The last 5 games sucked to start, and not one adjustment to that starting 5. Just doesn't make sense to me.
I just don't know because, it was working earlier on in the year. I mean, it just was, and it's tough for me to argue. I think the Markkanen thing has been huge for us offensively to start off. I think he just spaces the floor really well from that 3 spot. I mean, I was hoping that Wade would come on, and he really hasn't. I thought he would, but he hasn't. Lamar Stevens has been non-existent for a while now, and no one knows why. I mean, yeah, but what's going on? That'll be the interesting thing coming out of the break is the lineup changes, who's going to come in, who's going to start, what is the starting lineup going to be, and who are going to be the consistent 15-minute players that you get. I've been talking about that all season long. You get 4 or 5 guys off the bench that play 15 minutes at least, and there's something good cooking there. That those guys are reliable, but it can't be a juggling act where 2 of those guys are Chetty Osman and Kevin Love, and now it's Carousel Vert, who's also the 3rd guy, but it could be Okoro or whoever, but like I feel you got to have that 4 to 5 range of guys coming off the bench, giving guys blows and being able to work lineups. You got to know these lineups by now. You got to know these players by now. Yes, Karras is new, and you're trying to figure out who he works best with, but at some point it's gotta come together, and I think it will. I just don't think it'll come together right after the break.
Well, why not a defensive guy off the bench, right? If we're bringing in Love and Osman, yeah, Jetty can play decent defense at sometimes. Sometimes he gets a little too excited. Love can't play a lick of it. I mean, he'll give you effort when he wants to, and he, to his credit, has done that this year overall. But when you bring in Levert's a fine defender, not great. Why not move Okoro to the bench? I feel like that's like not rocket science, in my opinion, to have Okoro come in and just be a lockdown defender off the bench.
That was the idea from the start, though. Like,
yeah,
and then when Sexton went down, it was Rubio, wasn't it? I mean,
or if it's like Okoro's getting torched and can't score, just sit him and play Lamar. I mean, you might as well.
It just seems like these things are like right in front of the Cavs' face and not making the adjustments. And that's the things we were going to touch on is the adjustments. Why not have either one, Okoro or Stevens, come off the bench so you can bring some defensive firepower in? Because every time we bring Osman and Love in, that's usually when the Cavalanches start, but that's also kind of when our defense lets up ever so slightly. So why not bring a defensive factor? And I don't know. Maybe that's something that JB has thought about, but I think he's just kind of waiting. I'm not going to blame JB. I think he really is kind of playing it day by day. He said it from the beginning when they brought in Carousel Vert that there's a few things they have to figure out on the fly. So he's trying to be patient. He's trying to give it enough time to actually formulate an answer, but got to be careful because, this Eastern Conference is tight. Don't have too much time to think. Got to start performing.
Well, if you're in chat, we appreciate you. Number one, the boring part, go down in the description, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, also hit that big red subscribe button as well. It's totally free, helps us out a bunch, means the world. And if you are really upset with us, you could always unsubscribe later. Point number two, the fun part. We're probably going to go for another 20 minutes. The first link in the description has the StreamYard link in it. That link will take you to a waiting room where I can then bring you onto the stream. You can give your 2 cents. You could vent your frustrations. You could maybe call us out for being off base, maybe for a talking point. And then we can move on to somebody else who might be in the queue or just like the chat in general, which we will get back to.
I think Turner needs to get on here. I'm going to be honest.
I tell him it's right there.
Turner's pretty active in the chat on a pretty consistent basis.
He's right though. Allen barely involved, especially with John Collins out like 14-7. You're not going to say he played a bad game, but I mean, Mobley with the 22. So at least we took advantage of one of the mismatches. But like they don't even have John Collins. Like he's one of their best players. I mean, probably they all have like it's like Trey, and then everyone else is kind of conglomerated in the middle.
Gallinari, how about him going for 23 tonight, a season high? Why not?
Typical.
Cavalier Killer, add him to the list.
There it is.
Add him to the list.
Stamp of approval.
Logan, I'll show you stat news. You could type in a player and then their career average versus a team.
Please, I'd like to be directed to that. I'll find 20.
I'll find 20 guys right away.
If I'm right.
Because I was looking at
one guy for each team.
I was looking at Bogdan, and he only averages like 11.5 against us, so I was pretty surprised at that number. Let's go to A-Lems here. If the playoffs started today, would you feel good against Boston? Feel good against winning the series? Great question. Probably. I wouldn't feel great about winning the series because I know. Well, I'm not. I think I'd be okay with
that. I don't feel good about anyone honestly right now. Like it's tough. Like those bottom seed teams are scary at this point.
I would feel good against like
Charlotte. The Nets scare me, and Boston.
Yes. I'd feel good against Toronto.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Toronto.
I think we've come to that conclusion that Toronto would be a good team.
I'd still be okay facing Boston though. I don't know why. Something about us, I think we have a mental edge when it comes to Boston. I know they're playing really, really good basketball right now, but I don't know where I was going with that. But just something about the matchup. I don't know. I somehow think we could have
Brown and Tatum. I mean, we're not matched. I mean,
yeah, those are two very.
Like I understand you go get Vert or you go get Levert to try to combat that scoring presence, but it's like you have confidence.
Garland, Levert, and Tower City versus Brown and Tatum.
Right. And who knows? They just traded for Derek White. A lot of interesting things. Soft Taco. Some of these refs have been out to get us the whole
Past
year.
several games. I'm sorry, you're wrong there. They've been out to get us all the season. I'm sorry, but like, I'm sure that it's just because we're the homers and this is the team we root for.
Right.
I think everyone hates our team. I'm sure everyone else thinks that, but genuinely, guys, this year they gave a team 4 points for no reason. If that isn't it, like
they come together, they overturn the out of bounds. They're like, oh, it's going this way. Then they overturn the charge.
Oh yeah, no, refs have been out to get us since the beginning, and it goes back to what we talked about. We don't have the superstar. The Hawks have Trae Young, so they get those calls. Garland, maybe soon enough we start getting some calls. I have no idea, but also
I feel like,
dude,
Logan, I don't mean to cut you off, but I
go.
feel like it's been so long since I've seen Garland go to the line more than 4 times. Like in a night.
Not nearly enough free throws.
Not as much as
what was it
Trae
again?
Young.
I think I said we shot 10 or 12 free throws today, and the Hawks shot like 29. Come on.
Yeah,
That's just too big of a discrepancy, and there's no way we weren't drawing anything. So we
Garland,
definitely
2
getting
free
some
throws.
contact down low.
It's like Garland scores 30 with 2 free throws, and
he does that almost like that's his stat line every other night now.
And Trae scores 41
with like 9 or 10. How many
13?
was it?
He was 11 for 13.
Come on.
I'm saying.
And all Trae Young has to do is fall to the ground, throw his arms up in the air.
You got to do that.
Every freaking time. Jump backwards. That's normal.
It's interesting because Garland's like Garland's a drive game, and yeah, there was the one on Okoro where he like just went like that and somehow got the foul, and it was, and he was an and one, but Garland's drive game is really weird because I think it's really dependent on him not drawing any contact. It's a floater and like the jump stop after he's dribbled in a little bit. And like he's pretty good about not doing the layups anymore. Like I don't think he goes and maybe it's because of his back. Maybe he's just trying not to land on the floor too many times now. But I feel like his driving game has been not changed for like the worse, but just changed in a way that is no longer about him drawing contact.
Right.
So we do have somebody in the queue. We have.
All right. So if that's happening, I'm gonna make my exit, guys.
It is Turner though.
Turner, listen, I'm gonna tune in, but like I told these guys before, my head has like been destroying me since noon.
The screen isn't helping.
Yeah, I need some help. Turner, hold it down.
We're gonna do a little swap.
You're gonna swap in for me, Logan. I think is this gonna be your first time doing bringing in guys and talking with them?
Oh, have you been on? I had one person, but yeah, I got it, Justin. I'm a professional.
Word. All right, boys. I'm gonna tune in for like 15 minutes and then I'm out. All right. Deuces. Good luck.
All right. Appreciate it, Justin. Justin's hopping off and Turner's hopping in. Hopefully he's I think he's got something good to say.
He's been right.
Turner, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
What's going on?
How's it going? How's it going? Oh man, that game was frustrating. That game was frustrating. It was up and down. We were winning, we were losing, we're winning, losing by 8, up 4, losing, down 4 with like 3 minutes left, and then we're down 10. Like, what is going on? Can someone just get an offensive rebound? Like, we're shooting threes. God. We're shooting threes, and Allen is already running back to play defense, and the shot's not even off yet. That is probably my biggest pet peeve. I took an Jarrett Allen over 11 rebounds. It was like plus 100. I was like, oh, that's juice. Oh yeah, he only had 8 or whatever. Not even. He had 5 in the first quarter. Didn't play any of the second quarter. Didn't get any rebounds. Then he had like 3 back to back. I'm like, oh, I got a chance. And then like fourth quarter came and it was just nothing. Yeah. Mobley obviously 8, but I don't know. I really, really watched Allen today just because I had a bet on him, and he just didn't look good at all. Like, I don't know. Like,
he has a hard time getting involved, honestly.
I don't think they did a good job getting him in the right spots. Turner, I want to know your thoughts. What was the worst part of the defense today? What was the biggest issue?
Biggest issue, not leaving them wide open at the 3-point line, just wide open.
That's
simple.
And then
they would, all right, they'd get up on Trae Young. Oh, a little flop, foul. And then it was just like shooting free throws all day. Couldn't do nothing. Literally. And then he was just making acrobatic freaking shots everywhere, freaking floaters, shooting the lights out.
Like, went in.
Yeah,
that shot at the end, that little runner at the end.
That is what
I don't
I'm
even
talking
think he
about
knew
right
what
there.
he was doing.
How do you make that shot?
I think he was
How do you
lobbing
make that
it, and
shot?
it just went in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I thought he was lobbing it for an alley-oop, and it just – I wanted Allen just to swat it and get a goaltending and just say, get the hell out of here real quick. I think we just got to rough him up a little bit. Like,
swear.
Yeah.
Need to be more
he is
physical
so
in general.
small. What's up? You got another question?
Yeah, I got another question
thought?
for you. I mean, it is so early, obviously, into his Cavalier, run right now. But what are your initial thoughts of Carousel Vert so far?
This is a good question.
I don't know. I seemed like he barely played today. Barely played.
I think he played
because he just played weird stints.
29 minutes.
Yeah.
Okoro with 26. But back to your point, Logan, if you're gonna, that's the frustrating part. He plays 29 minutes and Okoro plays 26. Why don't you just start him?
Just start him.
Right.
Play him?
Right.
Like, you might as well get minutes in now.
Exactly.
If it takes him, let's just say it takes him 500 minutes to get acclimated. Like, I would like to see how many minutes Rondo's played for us, because he still ain't there yet. Obviously, 35, not as athletically, gifted anymore as Levert is, but it's like it might take you 500, 600 minutes to get acclimated into the lineup. So you might as well just start him. Like, play him 30, 35 minutes a night. Yeah. And
why don't they just start Kevin Love? He comes in with 3 minutes into the game and just comes in.
They want to keep him
3 or 4 minutes. I know, but like, just start him at that point.
He plays 26 minutes though.
He's always first one in, always in like 4 or 5 minutes. Bring him in. Like, why not just start him?
They're trying to give him that 6th Man of the Year award, man. I think they really are.
For sure. Oh my gosh!
It's all about the individual awards, right?
Gotta give. What really pissed me off was we played good defense. We get a turnover. They pass it right to Garland's hands on one. Beautiful. What's his name? I don't even know who the announcer is. He goes, "What a pass to Garland." 5 seconds later, Garland just throws it to no man. Picked off again and run it right back.
We had some really funky passes today. It was really going to frustrate me.
And it looks like they're not putting any zip on it. They're just like, I feel like everyone in the NBA is just lobbing it. Like, kind of just like
lazy
weird.
Passers. I think Carousel is a lazy passer, honestly.
Like Golden State watching them yesterday. Sorry, well, right, you go first.
No, I was just saying you got to have a pass with meaning. It can't just be a
I know, like
passing.
And you got to know when to use a bounce pass and not a chest pass.
No, hey, Chetty made an awesome pass to Levert and he fumbled it. Awesome pass, literally bounce pass, zipped it in off his hands.
Mobley fumbles some good passes too. Logan Mobley will fumble easy oops and just. I mean, he's a rookie though, 7-footer. I mean,
I always give him a break as a rookie.
I think give Levert a break for a couple more games until he starts clicking.
I think
he just hasn't really found his like role yet,
We saw against Indiana. I mean, he closed him out himself, scores 22. We know it's there. It's just a matter of finding consistency.
And is he going to be motivated defensively every night? Like, because I just don't think the Cavs are something like tonight, just not motivated defensively. You can see it. Right. All right, Turn. Anything else to add before we continue on?
It was really frustrating though watching it. I got my ups and downs all game. I was like, Hawks suck. Hawks suck. Cavs are good. Cavs suck. You're not wrong. I think they just need
a little bit.
They need to do something with the starting lineup. I don't know. Okoro just how many points did he have tonight?
6, all in the first.
Yeah, like all in the first half. Yeah, he can't be. He should not be a starter.
As many.
And if you get down, he should be a guy where if it's a tight game, maybe get him in there a couple minutes just to like get a fresh body on who's ever. There's usually always one person on every team that's balling out every night. Put him on him and let him go crazy. And
that's the issue with tonight. He don't score, and then Trey has 14 in the first quarter.
I mean, Trey Young's like he's like Curry. He's gonna go off. Like he's just Embiid gonna go off. Like he can't really do nothing. They're just no matter who you put on them, they're gonna go off. Even probably like you put LeBron on them, Embiid's still probably dropping 40 off.
Right, elite scores. elite score. It's tough to that's what I was really saying. I was like,
it's a scoring league.
Oh, for sure. They have to make it a scoring league. That's the best way for ratings. That's why the All-Star game is going to be 150 to 170 or whatever.
Probably more than that. It'll probably be like 200 to 200.
Exactly.
I want to see the over on that game. Probably be like 200. It'll probably be like 390, and the over will probably hit by 2 points. Sweat it out.
Hey Turner, I wish you the best of luck on your next bet here.
Oh, thanks. I probably won't be doing too many more Cavs bets just because it's frustrating.
Tough to watch.
Especially when Allen is just like a defense or rebound monster, and then he gets like 8. Like, come on. At least where's that 20? Where's that 20? Watch, next game
he's been averaging like 22.
Next game he'll have like 25 or something insane and be involved. Hell involved. It's Vegas. Vegas is calling. They want their money. They're telling Allen, hey, don't be playing so aggressively in the paint. Just make sure you get the under. But yeah, exactly. All right, boys. Peace out. I'll probably stay around your chat.
Appreciate you hopping in.
Thanks for having me on. I'll see you guys.
See ya. Well, different perspectives, We got the inside scoop there from people who I feel like that's an interesting way to watch games though. You follow just a certain player instead of, 90% of 90% of people watching, they only watch the ball. Like watch off ball, just like picks like one player to watch on like a couple of possessions. It makes it interesting, gives you a different perspective. We're going to hop back into chat a little bit. Bebo, I put the I know you asked about the link as well. I put it in the chat. So if you copy and paste that, it should work. Should be able to get in here like Turner did. He's talking about JB making mid-game adjustments. I want to hit on this real quick, Logan. I think when JB finds something that works, I think he sticks with it. But
rides it.
Yeah. Besides that, sometimes it's a little shaky, obviously, with some moving parts.
Yeah, I do think that. One thing I will give Ty Lue credit for, and I don't give him a whole lot of credit, he was always very good out of timeouts and making the proper adjustments. Whether they worked for a long time or not, at least he would right the ship. I think the last few games for JB, I know I'll say it again, I'll give him his props. He's dealing with new lineups. I get all of that. But I do think, like you said, Jeff, when he finds something he likes, he rides it. Like in the third quarter, I don't think we made our first substitution until it was like 5:20 left in the third quarter.
Right.
And it because the team was playing pretty well, but you could tell they were starting to get gassed and the Hawks were just missing some shots. And then he left them in probably just 2 possessions too long. So when he brings in his bench, he's back down 6. If he would just, make that move a little bit faster, like, yeah, this is working. Now I can add this to make it better. Not this is working. Let's see how long I can possibly push this. I think that he needs to do a little bit better job in those in-game adjustments. I definitely agree here with is it Bebo?
I'm not certain what it is, but
Bibo.
He's active, so we appreciate it. We got Gremlin. Lamar Stevens needs to get some more minutes. We've already hit on this, but we like to reiterate because it's almost to the point where I think both of them being Stevens and Okoro, playing similar roles and maybe sharing minutes when Lamar was playing at a pretty high level. I think it made both of them better, really. And we just have that missing aspect now.
In a game like today, where we're getting torched defensively, you need to bring in a spark plug. And we talked about it before. Lamar Stevens has always been a spark plug all season long. Why not throw him in? He starts bodying up Trae Young. If he gets embarrassed, he gets embarrassed. But to not try it, to not do something different, he had no answer all game long for him.
Nope.
And your answer was sitting on the bench and a guy who had earned his way into that rotation. Yes, I know LeVert is here, and I'm still a big supporter of having LeVert play more minutes, obviously, than Lamar Stevens. But I'm also a supporter like you, Jeff, in getting Lamar to split those minutes with Okoro. I mean, just to give some different looks, just to get that spark plug, just to try something different. Because today, they really had their set lineups and they weren't going away from it.
Yeah, and Gremlin's just like that. I mean, obviously, LeVert situation is slippery right now because he's new, hasn't played with these guys, hasn't played with JB, all these contending factors that we're going to talk about probably until the postseason, just for benefit of the doubt. But another point where two things can be true at once, correct, that we didn't give any active players up to get him. That's a good thing. We got rid of Rubio picks. So yes, that's the positive part of the trade. The negative is that when you bring someone in, you're still bringing someone in. Now you have a different dynamic between him and Lamar, him and how many minutes Okoro plays, how many minutes Jetty's going to play. You got to keep Kevin Love at that 24 to 27 minute range. And there's just so many moving pieces with the game of basketball. It's tough to say this happens because this. It's usually this happens because this. And really, that's just the kind of the easiest way I can describe it. Exhausted going to the All-Star break. Also another factor.
Here. Same, yeah.
Yeah, we need a break.
I think we're all exhausted. I mean, it's been a great season, and I want to make sure we stress that to anybody who thinks that we're just going to always be Debbie Downers. Fresh off a game, I always have emotions every single time, and I just kind of text them to you guys rather than say it to the whole world. But
this one was not good though.
No, this game was just not a fun one to watch, and this is what the last thing I'll say about the Lamar Stevens and Isaac Okoro situation. When I was a kid, and I know I never had a chance at the NBA. I barely had a chance even to play high school ball. I was a shooter, I'll tell you that, guys. But outside of that, I wasn't doing much. But what I could tell when I'd walk into a gym and I'd see someone catch a ball, I knew they weren't going to do a thing on offense. Okoro, when he catches the ball, he plays scared. He doesn't want that ball. He gives it right back up. Or he does this thing every single time he catches the ball, does a ball fake, and then tries to drive by the guy. It's like, dude, you're not fooling anybody.
He's just in between. Everywhere offensively, he's just in between.
And then he needs to get rid of it immediately. With Lamar Stevens, when he has that ball, he looks to do something for himself first. And actually patient. Right. Okoro grabs the ball and he's going right to the rim. Even if there's absolutely nothing there. Lamar Stevens kind of gets it, probes,
right.
Gets that mid-range shot. He can even knock down a mid-range shot. I don't know if Isaac Okoro's made maybe one or two mid-range shots all season. But what I'm saying is you can see it. And believe me, if I, as a sixth grader, could tell if a guy didn't want to play offense,
true.
Professional basketball players will see that and they'll go for you. They're going to get into your jersey. They know exactly what every single one of your moves are before you even do that. So he's got to be more standstill, catch the ball, look over what's going on. Then maybe pound the basketball a little bit. But he gets the ball and immediately he's either going straight to the rim or he gives it right back. And that's fine if you're doing a great job at cutting to the basket off ball and getting buckets. But he's not really doing that. He's just kind of running around right now as of late. He had that great stretch, that 4-game stretch before COVID where he really was showing his potential. And I don't know what happened, but he looks so freaking scared on offense. Whereas someone like Lamar Stevens, he'll make sure to at the very least, take some air out of the basketball while you set up your offense.
Right, and going along with that, I just think Okoro's in the middle, of every offensive decision making besides wide open threes, and those are shots that today I think he hit 2 of them. His two shots were open 3-pointers. I believe that he made both of them for 6 points.
Yep.
So it's either that or someone's a little bit closer, maybe 2 or 3 feet off him. He's not ready to pull. He really doesn't want to make a move to the rim. So totally agree. We're winding down here. We're gonna wrap up. We have NVG in the chat. Go Hawks. We appreciate you tuning in. If you're a Hawks fan,
I'm sure you ate all of this misery up.
We love talking to other fans though, but
we do.
We haven't really been that negative on the Hawks, really. But really only been negative on the Cavs.
Ball game. I mean, I know I gave him some crap earlier, and I was saying the Hawks aren't that good, but I think even some Hawks fans will agree this has been a very disappointing season
so far.
After what they did last year, making the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm trying to think of who they added this offseason. I thought they added a couple pieces. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, they run it back with the same team for the most part. And it just has been up and down all season. So a good win for the Hawks for the Suns a week ago. Started struggling. Got a good win over the Cavaliers. I mean, those kinds of games can write your season, get you going. Absolutely. And the Cavaliers, meanwhile, just dropped 2 games against 2 teams that we're going to see at some point.
100%. I haven't even really thought about it like that because I think the Hawks are going to make the playoffs for sure. I think we have a more sustainable model playing defense first and not playing offense first. Yeah. But with the way the NBA works, you can't be too certain. We're going to finish it off with Pine Cone Bliss on a somber note, but a note that needs to be attended to. I miss Rubio and the Rubio effect. Can't really say it much better than that. The dude is a Cavalier legend, and he played a third of the season. So
I know.
It was a shame to see him go.
He's been around for a minute.
Business is business. It felt like he played for us for 100 years, like retires jersey. Everybody loved him.
He really makes such an impact.
It's huge impact just because he was pass first. And then he would score when we needed him to. It's like you don't find guys like that outside of Garland. We don't have, Mobley's trying. I see Mobley trying to be a decent passer for his age, for his height, but just, man, the Rubio effect was huge. Of course, missing Lowry, and of course, missing Sexton. Sexton all the way back, if you even think about that. Logan, I know you might have to hop off, but we have another person in the queue. So
let's see. I got some time. Bring them in.
We're gonna go for like 5 more minutes, but sir, please tell us how to say your name.
Oh, my real name is Yaya, but they call me Bebo.
Bebo.
Yeah. Got it. I got it. Okay. Welcome in.
What's up, dude?
So, we have, in my opinion, I thought we had the number 1 defense in the league. But then I just see Joel Embiid kill us, and then I just see Trae Young kill us, and we make no adjustment through the whole game. And I'm like, bro, like against Joel Embiid, like the first 3 possessions, we double teamed from our power forward spot, leaving a wide open dunk, and I was like, bro, we're gonna lose.
Yeah, no, we have really drawn some unnecessary double teams as of late, and we are just not real great at recovering back and rotating. Even today, a pass went out to the outside, and we have a guy like Mobley or a guy like Love trying to run at the shooter. It's like he's gonna ball fake and go right by you and set up somebody else. Cavaliers are first in opponent points per game, first in free throws allowed, and third in field goal percentage allowed. And they got all 3 of those stats blown out of the water tonight.
And they have amazing one-on-one defenders. Like
they do.
But I personally would have put in Lamar Stevens on Trae Young because he's like 6'9", and he's like the same. He's a little stronger. So I don't know, man.
Why not though? Like, what do you think about Lamar Stevens as like the spark plug? Like, we were winning just a week ago. It seemed like he was a big part of that focal point.
Well, one thing I like about him is he at least has a mid-range shot that he'll take once in a while. Like he doesn't have to chuck up a corner 3. like for Isaac Okoro, sometimes it's like, I get you're trying to show you're confident, so you're going to chuck up that 3, and we're going to pray that it goes in. But it's like sometimes we can have great ball movement. Darius Garland passes it to Jared Allen. He has a dunk, so he gives it to Okoro. And I'm like, bruh, come on, man.
Okoro always ends up with these stupid open looks, too. I literally know exactly what you're talking about.
Man, and I love the dude because, like, when I played high school basketball, I was pure defensive. But when you play high school, you don't have to shoot because you could just be in the paint the whole time. This dude, it's like, bro, oh my. And he's so talented, too, because athletically, like, he's fast. He's quick, he's big.
Right.
But, man.
I just frustrated. Games like that, it's just like it's a highlight, I feel like when we win, it's easy for people to push deficiencies under the rug. Any sport, whether it be across the spectrum, if there's a weak link, so to say, and I don't even think he's a weak link. I just think he's just not he's just the weakest starter. Like even Dean Wade tonight, I think played better. I know he's got to run around and chase the best player the whole game. So that's part of the equation. But, Dean Wade at least tries to rebound. He's actually a perimeter threat. He tries to be, an off-brand Lowry Markkanen. So
where is Okoro's rebounding? I feel like I haven't.
Nowhere. His rebounding assists are negligible.
I don't understand.
His averages are not good.
How great he is.
Exactly. How athletic he is. He should be grabbing 5 to 6 boards a game.
He plays small, though. Like, I forget he's 6'6". He plays small.
I
plays
know.
much smaller.
I think he's actually 6'5". But
yeah. Everybody's over-listed in the NBA. Or they're way underlisted like Kevin Durant.
and what makes me sometimes annoyed, because I love this guy, even though hella Cavs fans hate him. Kevin Love can have a day where he looks like the greatest defender ever, taking charge after charge. And then he can have a day where he's literally guarding the dude that's about to take a 3 and he steps away from it. And it's
he picks and chooses. He picks and chooses when he wants to play defense. And I'm okay with that because he's never
he's like 37.
He's a great defender.
No, he's like 33.
Right. It's an effort thing, though. And I think the Cavaliers' effort has kind of been lacking the last few games. This one hurt because I think they did play hard, but they didn't adjust at all. And I think it might come down to a little bit of coaching. I don't know. How do you think overall today was JB Bickerstaff outcoached by Nate McMillan?
The thing is, Nate McMillan didn't do any adjustment that I saw. The problem was that's how Trae Young ended up having 40 points. And I see this with Garland sometimes where he'll have a great half, and I'm like, oh, my God, he's about to go for 50 today. He's about to go crazy. And then it's like maybe his back or something, so he didn't continue. But I feel like Garland could have matched Trae Young if he had the same mindset today.
They were going shot for shot in the second quarter, and it was fun to watch for a little bit. And then Trae went off a little bit.
No, he went off to the free throw line like 20 times.
Yeah, right, he did, man. Evo's speaking facts out here.
Bro, could you imagine if we had to play the Sixers and then James Harden and Embiid would average like 20 free throws or something?
I didn't even think about that, Bebo.
I don't even want to watch that
line
series.
Every other possession.
I'm good on that. I'm out on that series. I wouldn't even want to watch it.
And
I didn't even think about that.
For Trae Young, I get why he would go to the free throw line because he's 6'1". But when I see a guy like Giannis and Embiid going to the free throw line, you're like the biggest, fastest people I've ever seen in my life. Like, what do you need the free throw line for?
It will always bother me. Even a guy like Draymond at times can do the exact same crap. It's just like you're a built like a linebacker type of athlete, and you're going to the ground. I mean, Joel Embiid is 7 foot 270.
Crazy.
Trae Young he like you said, Bebo, he gets the benefit of the doubt because if he gets even just a little fingernail, since he's 6'1", he can play it like he got hit by a semi truck.
Man. And when you're rooting for him, because I don't like the Sixers, so when the Hawks played the Sixers last year, I was like, man, every one of those fouls is a foul. But then when he plays against the Cavs, I'm like, this is not a foul.
Right. Oh, I'm sure, man. That's how it goes. The team you're rooting for is always the one that's getting screwed, it seems like. Isn't that how that works?
Right. Well, Bebo, we really appreciate it, dude.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, dude, come back.
Please come on back sometime. We'd love to talk
hopefully
to you.
When we win another game.
Talk with you.
Yeah, hopefully in a better note next time. But we appreciate you in chat. We appreciate your support, buddy. Make sure you let them know.
All-Star Week, Bebo.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. I'm gonna be there.
Oh, sick.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys.
See you.
Take care.
Thank you.
I'm so jealous. He's going.
Yeah, he's going. Well, maybe send pictures. At Pulse Cleveland on Twitter tweeted us.
Oh, absolutely. We'll give you a little shout out.
We have someone else in the queue if you have like 5 more minutes.
You know what? I haven't gotten a text yet that says I need to get off, so let's go ahead.
Okay. This is we're done after this. Mike's second time caller is going to finish us off here.
Well, let's go, Mike.
The last time we talked to him, it was after a win, so I heard some positivities. I'm going to be interested to hear this time. What's going on?
Mike.
Hey guys. Man, that was a tough one to watch, wasn't it?
Tough one to watch.
That's one of those Cleveland games where you're like, oh man, oh no, oh yes, they're gonna come back, and
the heartbreak. We're so used to the heartbreak, aren't we, Mike?
Hey, you just gotta look at it this way, man. It's hard to win on the road.
That's such a great point. Such a great point.
Especially with a team that's fighting for their life down in some, playing
that 10th spot right now.
Hellbound. What are they going to do? They want to break up a team that was just in the playoffs last year, or what? Right. They want to start playing their asses off, and they got out there and they played their asses off. I was proud of that team, man. They let it go, man. And we're kind of in this strange spot in between all this rest. Kind of got this, we don't want to get injured out there. We're playing a little bit timid,
Yeah.
Well, that'll all be over after get this team healthy, get Lowry back, man, get some sense of normality.
Yeah.
And man, I'll have to bark at JB here.
Oh, let's
okay.
hear it.
Please do.
Come on. Dean Wade.
He said Dean Wade.
From 3 tonight. Why don't you use this guy as a weapon? That guy is stone cold.
He's a better shooter than you would think.
If you'll throw him the ball and tell him to shoot, he'll shoot the ball and he get him back in this game, man. Kevin Love can't do it all. And you're waiting on Chetty to have one of his
You're always waiting for Chetty. You're waiting for Chetty to come around the corner every night, I feel like. And some nights he does.
And we're kind of getting this deep. It might be a little bit too early to say this, but we're kind of getting this kind of deep-rooted kind of thing, like at least I am. Like we're going to have to do this in spite of having to take on this guy. What's his name?
Levert.
Well, yeah, Levert. That's what it looks like tonight.
Yeah, I think tonight, Mike, I mean, I don't know what you think, but I think the Hawks just played with more urgency. I mean, like you said, they're on the outside looking in right now in this playoff picture. We're meanwhile, trying to hold on to our spot. But at the end of the day, the Hawks are fighting for their playoff lives.
That move was so much we love I can't say his Raging Bull.
Young Bull
replacement. But we're going to get in somebody just almost as good as him. But oh man, that field goal percentage, man, that's a killer. That man,
I'm there with you.
Everything you're trying to do, and also like you were saying it before, bring in Lamar Stevens and put him on Trey, see if he can pull that off. Man, you're not going to beat him if he gets 40 points.
No,
these, assists and
gave up 124. You're not the Cleveland Cavaliers of this year are not winning basketball games, giving up $120.
Scored 116 points and lost tonight. Yeah, I mean, plain and simple.
That's how
not going to work.
We just played a game I thought we were going to lose the Charlotte game like that too.
Yeah. Well, on the road it's tougher. That's all I can say.
It is.
We got these key 3 games coming up here. The Nets and us. I think we got the Sixers again, and then we got who is it? It's either the Bulls or the Heat.
Yeah, might be.
We got to hit 2 out of. I think if we hit 2 out of 3 of those, get rested up, get healthy, I think we can still take that top spot in the Eastern Conference standings.
Think so? Okay.
2 out of 3. Look at that. That'll be my gauge. We get 2 out of 3 of those.
And you need a home series, like you've been saying. The home series is going to be big.
Supposed to be still Atlanta, and they're going and they're getting their butts kicked a lot. And I was really ashamed we couldn't just be that team with Garland and Mobley and Allen and just about anybody we plug into that will work. And with Levert, it's going to take some work.
Help is on the way, though. This is a much-needed all-star break. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
We'll be just fine. We need a little positivity on this. A
lot of games to play. Yeah,
20 plus games to play. Not really. I'm looking at the schedule. We got Detroit out of the break. We have Detroit, Washington, and Minnesota. So those are some get right games after a 9-day rest. Then you got to play
in our schedule.
Yeah, literally perfectly placed.
Do you do like a shameless advert for me?
What's up?
A shameless advert.
I don't think so. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Mike.
A shameless advert.
It's my website. I just wanted to promote.
Promote it up.
Why not?
If you're an online marketer, or just want to promote a link somehow, It goes worldwide. I'm been in the business like 8 years at this. That's how long mailer's been open. You just send your message out. There's a free option. There's a without ads option, just like that, to RodeoMailer.com.
Rodeo Mailer? Is that
you'll see my picture from way on back there, buddy.
Oh, perfect. Young Mike.
Yeah.
Well, you heard the man. Rodeo Mailer.
Rodeo Mailer. Yeah, man.
Go check it out.
I put some time and money and effort into the design of that thing. I'll tell you. But it's gotten me retired, so
There you go.
Nice. More Cavs basketball.
Never hurts to promote it. I'm paying the hosting. I might as well promote it.
Well, Mike,
come on, go Cavs. And what's that last message? Let them know, man.
Let them know, Mike.
We'll see you again, I'm sure.
We appreciate you tuning in, Mike, and jumping on. Take it easy, buddy.
Yeah, you guys do. Good job. Good job.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
RodeoMailer.com. Go check it out. If you want to see,
I love that he's come on twice.
This is what you do. You come on. We're going to give you a free shout out. I didn't know what he was referencing to start. I
think it broke out a little bit, and I was like, "Did he say Vert?" I couldn't hear him at first, and I was like, "Okay, gotcha now." Okay.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us.
5 minutes.
Mike's going to end us on a high note there, and you guys see the format. If you're watching the replay, we bring people on. We're not here to just talk between ourselves. It's not ESPN, it's not Sports Center, it's not just three talking heads repeating the same talking point back to each other for a 30-minute segment. We're going to bring other opinions on, and leave it in the comments who we should bring on, who we should reach out to and do collaborations with. Logan, anything else before we hop off?
Folks, we're going to be okay. 2 losses that were disappointing. I think having an hour to yell about it made me feel better. This is a perfectly placed break. Like we said, 3 very winnable games coming out of the break. Time for guys to get back. Time for us to find the rotations that work. All-Star games in Cleveland, guys. Happy All-Star week. I've never been so excited about an All-Star game. I usually don't give a crap. But I'm excited to see that 2 Cavaliers are in, showing us that we're headed in the right direction. Believe me, at 35 and 23, we are headed in the right direction. So rest up. We're going to be back on Tuesday with a little fantasy draft. Definitely tune into that. We're going to pick all-time Cavaliers, whether you played 1 minute or 11 years. You in your prime. You could have prime Derrick Rose, prime Dwayne Wade, prime Shaq. Please do tune into that. Make sure to drop in some more names. Feel free to do the Polls Cleveland is our Twitter account.
At Paul's Cleveland. Yep. Trying to change the domain, but Twitter support.
Definitely drop some names in there. We'd love to add them. But glad everyone tuned in. Thank you for coming on in. Happy All-Star week and go Cavs.
Yes, sir. You heard the man, Logan. We're going to be all right. We got a 9-day break. Not a break from the Pulse, though. Like you said, we're going to be getting content out, and we get to enjoy the All-Star break in Cleveland. So
absolutely
tune in to watch Mobley, Okoro, of course, Jared Allen, and Darius Garland. And, from now until when we see you next, the drill. Make sure you let them know.